Good morning, guys. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to our broadcast. Ingrid Pollard and Gisela and Mandy and Van and all the other folks joining us. Rochelle, good morning to you. Donette, good morning to you. Mandy again and Lynette Finance. Good morning. Maria Vera, how you folks are doing this morning? It's Friday the 4th day of April. Believe it or not. Angela Ben. Angela, how you doing, man? Angela, how you doing? Good to have all of you on the live. Pace and power. Pace and power. How are you folks doing this Friday morning? Good to have all of you with us. Wherever you're joining us from this morning. Keon Spooner. Keon, why don't you share the live for us? Smash that emoji button for us. Keon and all the other folks. Drea, how are you doing? Whom is on the live this morning? I see Sharma E. Grant Melville on the live too. Euclid Lambert on the live as well. Jennifer Argyle on the live too. Andrew Griffith on the live as well. And I see, is it Shrima? Shrima Apple? No, some fancy names. I see Ann John. Sonia Massey Cobb on the live. Sonia, how are you doing? Sonia, you've been missed. Sonia Massey Cobb. Sonia, you've been missed. A lot. I see my aunt is on the live. Elizabeth Narayan from Sparkle City is here. Sonia joining us from Maryland. Sonia's joining us from Maryland. Elizabeth, you had a chance to meet Sonia in Brooklyn, if you remember. Right? Sonia was the one with the nice, as we say, boycott. You know? Looking sharp and beautiful. Good morning, Sonia Massey Cobb. Good morning to Big Auntie from Atlanta. Big Auntie from Atlanta, good morning to you. You home? You at work yet? You still home? You on your way? Big Auntie from Atlanta, you know yourself. Jilly G, Rihanna Mingo. Jilly G, of course, joining us from Florida. I hope I get it right. Sometimes I forget. Jilly G on the live this morning. Suzanne McPherson. Francine Cruz, good to have you on the live too. Good to have you. Marcia Jackman, good to have you, Marcia. Auntie Sandra's on the live as well, joining us from Diamond. Good morning, Auntie Sandra. Those of you who are joining us from, you're in Guyana, but you're outside of the national capital city. Good morning to you. Good morning to our brothers and sisters in Barbados. Good morning to our brothers and our sisters in Barbados. Good morning to them, you know. When is this government going to stop embarrassing us? Folks, you should see some of the comments on TikTok. And based on what Vice President, your Vice President is not my own, Barjagdeo said about Barbados, you should see the comments, even on our Facebook page, Credible Sources. That clip has now been viewed over 100,000 times. And no doubt 100,000 is Barbadians rather. Folks from Barbados. Some of the comments, my God. You know, in any other country that believed in the rule of law, you know, had a moral compass and decency, that minister uttering those statements, that government official uttering those statements, will resign in disgrace. Would resign in disgrace. Those who operate at the top levels of government, They're like ambassadors in their own right. You don't have to sell the country alone at home, but you got to sell it abroad too. You know what I find out? You know what I found is so fascinating? This whole, I call it Bim Gate, the Bim scandal. Bim, of course, is Barbados. You know, Bim Gate, the Bim scandal, the Bim saga. Take your pick of it. You know what I found interesting? Sheila Boychild in Bim Gate, the Bim saga. Eula Lafferman Rubens. You know what I find? I'm seeing a little blurry here now. It's with the glasses. See? A little blurry. Yeah. You know what I find a little interesting with Bim Gate? Jack Dio, Mr. Vice President, your Vice President, holds himself out to be a statesman. Remember, this is why he said that he was suing Sue, who he had in his living room. Sue, who handles the things on the private sector side. And Jack Dio, of course, said he handles the things on the government side. And he was suing Sue Girong because he had brought him down in the esteem of the international community. That's what he said. In the esteem of the international community. Marlon Larma, I see you on the live here. Marlon, I think you're in BIM. If you're in BIM, I hope you tag some of your colleagues there, some of your Barbadian colleagues, to get their impression if they subscribe to what he's selling there. I think Marlon is in BIM. Yeah. So he said he was brought down in the esteem, the high esteem of the international community. So when he says something, it has that effect, you see. It has that effect. And he wailed into BIM. He, a man who prides himself, he's a Caribbean international statesman. All right? Manley Cummins, Vanessa, you know what I find interesting? I had a long build up to what I found interesting. Imagine he puts down Asruddin Mohammed. Asruddin Mohammed can't talk. Oh, he this, oh, he that. Every chance he gets. Oh, that moron, this. Who's the moron this morning? Asruddin Mohammed. Right? Marlon says already out there. Good. Marlon joining us from BIM, Barbados. Marlon says it's already out there. Good. You've done your day's job, Marlon. You've done your day's job. Asruddin Mohammed went to Barbados, had an uneventful trip, incident-free. He and Shame Guyana. Slack Buckton now. Sorry, it's a morning program. The vice president. He didn't even meet Barbados. He didn't write in your own country, and he caused all this problem. He claimed he's the brain of the operation. You ain't got nobody smart like him, not even Erasmus. Not even Erasmus. Asruddin Mohammed went to Barbados, uneventful, not a problem. Just sent a couple photographs on the beach, give a little inspiration for the morning. Jack, do you ever give anybody any inspiration? Huh? Jack, do you ever give anybody any inspiration? You ever did that? Asruddin Mohammed had an uneventful trip. In all accounts, Jack John left the country yet. And the whole Barbados, if they didn't hate me yesterday, they wake up hating us. But it's not us, it's him. He is not a reflection of the Guyanese people. He's not even a reflection of all the PP people. He's not even a reflection of all the PPP people. So he has brought our country now into disrepute. As only a couple months ago, the AG was bringing the whole administration of justice and the CCJ into disrepute. Now look, a whole statesman, Jagdeo, that's how they title themselves. A whole statesman, as comparison to Azruddin Mohammed. Uneventful trip. Jagdeo sitting at Freedom House, the Obi House. And it's just confusion. You could sow not only at home, but you could sow in the region. You all should see what the folks saying on TikTok. I remember Glenn Lal voice, TikTok. You all should see what they're saying right on our Facebook page. Credible sources. Beneath that video has been shared more than 200 times. It has gone viral. It has been seen more than 100,000 times. And similar for TikTok. And then I know that persons have taken that video now from our page and they've shared it independently. So I'm certain, a rough average would be about 500,000 people across the Caribbean are seeing that and hearing how we're shading Barbados, hating on Barbados. Why? Why? Because you get a little money in your pocket now? Because you got a little money in your pocket now? Just because of that? Folks, just in case you're not too certain what we're talking about because you didn't join us last evening, during the Vice President of Guyana press conference yesterday, he was talking about one of his political opponents, Azruddin Mohammed, a rising star. Everywhere Azruddin goes, hundreds of people flock to him. One day photographs taken with him once a day, hang on by his every word. Rising political star in Guyana. And so Azruddin was in Barbados recently. He didn't tell us why he went there, but Jagdeo is now saying he went to meet with U.S. prosecutors. The things that he should know, like a little diplomacy. And so he was talking about Azruddin being in Barbados, and here is where he now starts to slam Barbados. Take a look. Take a listen.
But really, if you go to Barbados, that's not no big destination you're going to. You got to be really desperate to post like your picture on Barbados and say, look, I'm traveling now. It is like, I'm really, it's funny for me, frankly speaking, when you have to just big up Barbados as your big destination you could travel to, a man showed he was in Paris or somewhere else or in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's what the Vice President said. It's not funny to the rest of us. And certainly, it's not funny to the people of Barbados. I saw like a handful of the thousands of people who've commented on this video. I saw less than a handful say, oh, you have to take what he says in context. Everything for the people, you got to take in context. But somebody else, some other political party, we ain't got to take it in context. He didn't really mean that. It's like they were saying about Rubio. Oh, Rubio just exaggerating a little bit. He didn't really, what he really means is that Barbados have lovely white sand and lovely blue water and so on. It's a fantastic country, powerful people, lovely place. That's what he really means, It's like Trump. When he says during his election campaign, I'm going to tax everybody. We can take over the Panama Canal and so on. He don't really mean that. He means the opposite. Really and truly. What he says there, he really means the opposite. Look at his smirk on his face. Barbados. I mean, listen to them. Could the average Guyanese, you could save a little money and go BIM. The average Guyanese could go to Manhattan, so on. Are you little minimum wage? The full minimum wage might be the ticket to Barbados. How much is it flight to Barbados? Minimum wage, you got Italy and so on, Venice and so on. You could do that. You could do that. That's what the fella said.
But really, if you go to Barbados, that's not no big destination you're going to. You got to be really desperate to post like your picture on Barbados, say, look, I'm traveling now. It is like, I'm really, it's funny for me, frankly speaking, when you have to just big up Barbados as your big destination you could travel to. A man showed he was in Paris or somewhere else or in Manhattan.
Fella there for yourselves. You heard him, fella there for yourself. Folks, for your own self. You heard him there for your own self. Now, I used to work at a company. I think I told you all this anecdote before. I used to work for a company. And the first day, if not the first week I went on there. The first day, if not the first week I went on there. A guy said, Mr. Duncan, he said, when they pat you on your back here, when they pat you on your back here, in this company, is the soft spot the feeling for. To plunge the dagger. I said, what? He said, yes, Mr. Duncan. He said, warn you about them. When they pat you in your back on this side here, take caution. Take caution. I'm telling you another story here. And I live to see the day. Y'all hear me? I live to see the day that gentleman was proved right. Before too long, I had so much of daggers coming after me. My God. My God. Never forgot it. You say when they pat you on your back, that's a truism, The fella lying? We only got to keep it a company. That's a truism. When they pat you in the back, Father of his mercies, here's this soft spot the feeling for. Here's the soft spot. Here's the soft spot. If you got friends like this, I saw Odessa Primus wrote on one of these posts somewhere on the vastness of social media. If you got friends like this, why you need enemies? It's when they patting you in the back, Avril. Raquel Gentle done it daily. When they patting you in the back, you see what I love about life. The good book is never wrong, The good book is never wrong. The good book says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth. Lick mouth lazy. Out of the abundance of the heart, the art, the mouth speaks. And when the man speak yesterday, he spoke, When he speak,
but
he
really, if you go to Barbados, that's not no big destination you're going to. You got to be really desperate to post like your picture on Barbados, say, look, I'm traveling now. It is like, I'm really, it's funny for me, frankly speaking, when you have to just big up Barbados as your big destination you could travel to. A man showed he was in Paris or somewhere else or in Manhattan.
Yeah. No big destination. So while he is ridiculing Mia Motley, while he is doing that, Mia woke up in Destination London this morning. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Amor Motley, woke up in London this morning. woke up in London, meeting with the Prime Minister of London. Who we meeting with today? Huh? Who Jack you meeting with today? Me woke up in London. Hear what she's doing. Edward Brooms, Leslie Magnell, McGarrell Seville, Chevron McDonald. Hear what May doing in London this morning. Right. May says that herself and Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, met at 10 Downing Street, is the official residence of the Prime Minister. We spoke about the worsening security and political situation in Haiti, regional security, climate and development, and strengthening the bilateral relationship between our two countries. This is what world leaders are out there doing. It's only Putin and some other people back talking, other people, countries, and so on. Not even Putin so much. Don't blame Putin unnecessarily. Don't blame Putin unnecessarily. It's only these crass politicians that we got here. May woke up this morning in the UK, done meet with the UK Prime Minister on climate change, regional security, development, the political situation in Haiti, meeting with the Prime Minister of Great Britain on strengthening the bilateral relationship between their two countries. You see, this is what other Caribbean leaders doing, other world leaders doing. What we got here? Buzang Jagdeo. Buzang Jagdeo. So I want our Barbadian brothers and sisters to know, right? They're not like us. They're not like us. Don't put all in the same category. So when you're cussing Barbadians, cuss he, and cuss he got you. He styles himself as a cuss man. He told Baba John, we can cuss them. Isn't that what he said the other day? Oh, they think we can cuss the NGOs. Yeah, we can cuss them. Y'all cuss him good and proper. Well deserved. Cuss him good and proper. Good and proper. That being said, folks, as we get on the way this morning, lots happening outside. We saw this on Camp Street thanks to Joseph Allen. An early morning accident, they said one of the drivers might have been inebriated. He might have had a little too much, That's why I try to stay away from alcohol. Anything that can dull my senses, I always want to be in control. I always want to be in control. Anything that can dull my senses, I can try to keep far from that. This is Camp Street, look like Camp and Rob Street. So the drunken driver collided with a passenger minibus. And that's the result of it. So let's be careful out there, folks. You could be in the corner, and things will come for you as we begin today. And this is like our relationship with Brazil. Because I feel like Jagdi was drunk yesterday. No leader in the right mind, in the right thinking, operates like that. None. No leader with decent, proper mental capacity operates in that manner. So we just crashed the relationship with Barbados. Single-handedly, Jagdio crashed that relationship. If Azruddin Mohammed had a little snarky comment about Barbados, you would have seen the people writing letters to the editor. They would have gone to the CCJ. You would have had the Foreign Affairs Minister apologizing to Barbados. You see, you might have seen some protests, all manner of things, but Jagdio bright. Jagdio bright, and they can tell you, there's method to this, People can try to tell you how this utterance by Jagdio, there's method to it. Eva, good morning, Annette. They're going to try to kerfuffle you and tell you, there's method. Man, bright, you know what we're doing here, man. There's method here, something, strategy. It's part of the strategy. A cost down strategy. You see, to ham everything is a nail. You see? And when you're perpetuating cost mode, cost the NGOs, cost the Nazima Ragabir, cost the Guyana Press Association, cost the Guyana Human Rights Authority. You know? Since you see something marked BIM, you're cussing because that's how you know. The car got a 1 gear. He can body bearings. He bearings bun this morning. He cussed BIM now. Barbados? So the man's scruffy face. You see the rest of us, we weren't born with a silver spoon, eh? Much less a gold spoon. We had to pick ourselves up by our laces. You see, and make it in this world. That's why we got to respect for every man, woman, and child, irregardless political affiliation, irregardless, religious affiliation, social thing, and so on. Some people look down on others like that. Don't let us do it. Don't let us do it. Jagdio, because we got a little island, we look like we're going up. We ain't gonna left people at the bottom. We could carry people up with us. I find when you're going up the ladder, you better carry some people, because when you're coming back down, you pass them same people. Same people. So they ridicule. Turn up his nose. Turn up his nose. Why not let us focus on this 38% tax business? Why not let us focus on that? The tariff, the sanction, the 38% sanction. Why not let us focus on that? You see, we could focus on that alone, and it consumes us. Again, I heard the lead up the lines for change yesterday saying we need to come together across the political divide in this country and try to solve this. This thing could be detrimental to a lot of businesses. And like I told you last night, we saw this headline. A certain countries, this thing could be detrimental to. Right? Lesotho, for instance. You can wipe out countries economically with this. But we're not going to focus on this. Can we focus on that a little bit? Perhaps. Could we focus on that a little bit? Not these boys. I find it too distracted, I find it a little too distracted. What's going on here, folks? What's happening here? What do you guys make about it? I know some of you are brighter than me by far. It's only because I had this idea starting this program. Some of y'all could take this thing and run and become CNN like CBS. Please do it for me. Do it for us. Y'all know more about these issues than me. So we could focus on our 38% tax. At least we can wipe off the map too. At least Sheila Boychild, Marlon George, Fletcher Phillips, Marcy Agar, before we get wiped off the map. Before we get wiped off the map. We got to be very careful in this place. Very, very careful. Very careful. One day is the spider, I tell y'all. Next day is the fly. One day is the spider in this business. Next day, you are the fly. So, your vice president, he's not my vice president. James vice president. Crawl my skin just saying that. He's speaking yesterday to this issue of the 38% tariff that the United States have sanctioned us with. Take a look.
Every country, the bigger your trade surplus is for the United States of America, the bigger the surplus is in percentage term, the higher would be your reciprocal tariff, because they take using this formula. So that is why and it's across the board. It is for friend and foe alike. The United States has applied this right across the board on the basis of this formula that we think that they applied. We're still to work closer with the US government.
Yeah. So he's trying to say there's not just us. Don't look down on. See, it's everybody. It's everybody. America is an equal tariff sanctioning country. It's not just us. But we can talk to them. We don't really know yellow formula where he thinks it's happening here, but he doesn't really know. See, if they're really close to the Americans, they would know. We don't know, but we gotta engage them. But I find that Jack, you talk half the story yesterday, and he left half. But no surprises there. You talk half, you left half. Typical fella. Typical PPP. Talk half and left half. 28% tariff. Could the next half be this? We saw this on CNN, as you can see there. Read the caption of what we see in this business, the lower third. Trump slaps 10% tariff on all imports. Okay? 10% on all. Higher for who? Everybody get 10%. Equal tariff sanctioner. Everybody get 10%. But we can give some people higher than 10%. Who are these people? I don't know if my eyes, I gotta get my glasses. With the glasses. I'm gonna look for my glasses. We're gonna give higher tariffs to who? Andrew, Faye, Ned Bucket. Who we giving? Pamela Nelson. We giving higher tariffs. Jesus. That's the half intel we about. You mean he's bad actors now? You mean he's bad actors now? Folks, I don't know, but this PPP will be backfiring. This PPP will be backfiring. They said APNU AFC would have gotten all these sanctions if we had gone back into government. We would have gotten all these sanctions. So he's bad actors now. They're getting sanctioned left, right, and center. Left, right, and center. If I got a chance to believe CNN and NCN and the Chronicle, and the Room of the News, if it's a choice between them and CNN, where you coming down, Jilly G, Bantu King, Naomi Drucker? Trump slaps, as the lower church says, 10% tariff on all imports. And if you're a bad actor, you're getting higher tariffs. Oh, so in the American books, we're bad actors now. Huh? So it's all this global award and so on that them boys boasting about. Global award for leadership. It's bad actor leadership. Bad actor leadership. They always want to sell. Oh, they're so tight. They're so tight with the Americans. They're so tight. And we heard the fella boasting yesterday. He boasting. Even though the boast now seems to have been modulated, like somebody said, look, if you keep on saying this thing, people don't go to vote, they think we don't got this thing. You remember the other day they saying landslide, Marlon? Leslie Thompson, John Sullivan, landslide, Marcia, landslide. Here how the whole thing now gets modulated. Since you see all these people sliding over by Azruddin, the whole thing now has gotten modulated. Right? Modulated. He's now what are you saying? You tempering expectations. They got things for settle them, you know. They got things for settle them. Right? And I see Maxine Monroe says the creator got us, MP. More to come. They got things to settle them. To hear the man now modulating, you know, downplaying expectations. I said, well, this is new from last week, landslide victory. You know, I said, this is new.
The PPP is highly likely to form the next government. And we therefore, but we're not complacent about it. As I said many times, that's why I keep urging our supporters to act as though we are behind. Work, that means you work hard or harder every single day.
Yeah, these fair weather politicians, they ain't gonna work now. Driving around these 4 years in the big gas guzzlers and so on, treating people anyhow. Is they going to work? Is that you said it now? Plush from the plunder. You know what they're busy doing? Every minister in this government probably got an apartment building. At minimum, that's the starting point. I heard one minister boasting the other day, 15 apartment buildings. Right? 15 apartment buildings. He alone. Yeah. Them boys living tall. But see the average Guyanese, who they abandon while they're plundering, while they're going after political foes, Bork and Melly Mel. You see the people? Suddenly from landslide, highly likely. But we got to work, you see, we got to work. Modulating that now. Right? And then the status quo was one way all the time in this country. The 5 a.m. meeting told us that. The 5 a.m. meeting. They have not been able to lead and lead effectively. And now, you hear him he blaming Vindia, he blaming Kwame, he blaming the little snake, the lying one. Watch your hand on the Bible. Onage. You know. It's not him. Everybody else getting blamed. Everybody else. He calls them the little lords.
I've had to speak to some people on the ground about their attitude. These officials in many of the regions, etc., sometimes they behave like little lords. That's not tolerated. They show no humility in the exercise of their functions, like or their jobs. They cause untold grief to people on the ground who seek help, who like the party and who like the government and seek help, and even those who don't like us. Their job there is to ensure, if they work in the government mechanism or in the party, to ensure that they treat people civilly and in a helpful manner, even when they can't accede to all their demands, because sometimes people are unreasonable too. Some people want you to solve things that are simply intractable and can't be solved.
People want you to solve things that are simply intractable. They can't be solved, like corruption, like PPP and good governance. Can't solve it. Like PPP and corruption, nepotism, friends, family, and favorites. You can't solve it. But it's always the people. You know? We're a humble party. Look his humility on display with Barbados. You all saw his humility on display in Barbados. Oh, Barbados. If that is how you treated Barbados and your friend Mia, imagine how you treated the common man in this country. Mia's your friend. Who y'all can get to write a statement any day. Oh, free and fair elections. And that's how y'all talk with Mia about, oh, we treat people with a certain kind of respect as PPP. It has been the one thing for the People's Progressive Party. Ad nauseum, ad infinitum. You see? It's talking one thing and doing something else. They talk good governance. They talk transparency. They talk accountability. They talk anti-corruption. But it's the opposite. It has always been the opposite. Please and thank you. And that's where we are. These little lords. Wasn't he like a lord talking down to Barbados? And if he wasn't a lord, at least he was a little lord. Talking down to Barbados. Where do you think the people get it from? This arrogance. Where do you think the PP got it from? PP leaders. The PP leaders, you have heard time and again citizens in this country speaking publicly talk about how they're treated, roughed up by the PPP. But we're in this election cycle, and so he gotta do some damage control. He gotta rehabilitate the image now. You see, I've spoken to these little lords, you know, and he training them, you know. He's the one training them. Leonard and Bantu, and Little Galloways, the training under he. They are training under him. So there's a number of things. When all that's happening, we could be focused on. But we're not. We're distracted as a country. Tremendously so. Sadly so. We are distracted as a country. So today we got Bim Gate on us. We got Bim Gate. Last week was Concussion Road Gate. Every week, every day, something in this country. No. The parliamentary opposition, the opposition, lost this registration case before the High Court yesterday. And I say that because I want to point out, just in case Jagjo them don't know what it could be focused on. You know, we could tell them. Yesterday morning on this program, I said win, lose, or draw. It has been my experience that every time the Chief Justice hands on a decision, he always got something a little extra. You know, it's a paste bowl with a little spin in it and so on. He got a little something extra coming there. And yesterday when the Chief Justice says, look, if you got to check where people live in before they can vote, you can end up disenfranchising people. So we are clearer today on where the law stands on that. And we should all be grateful for it. We're clearer today. But typical Jagdio, typical Anil Nandalal, they talk half and they left half. Because the Chief Justice also said that we got to overhaul the suite of laws concerning our elections. She said it all over the place. I'm telling you what the lady said. They are all over the place. Maybe it serves some people's benefit to have them all over the place. You see? Because your reading ain't going to be so clear. You got wrong by something, and then really and truly you should be reading the representation of people act. You know? You're in the representation people act, and then really and truly you should read in the revised births and deaths. And then when you're there, you got wrong something else, is something else you're supposed to. The thing like hopscotch. And I'm quoting one media publication who said the Chief Justice indicated this thing all over the place. We need reform. We need reform, brothers and sisters. So just in case the government thinks they have nothing to focus on. But of course, the National Assembly has met so few and far in between. So few and far in between. In the last tenure of the parliament, they ain't get no proper work done. They ain't get no proper business undertaken. Because we don't meet on a regular. And that's the facts of the matter. We have not sought to meet on a regular. So that's some of the things we're following as we wrap up, as we wind down our final morning show for the week. Today being Friday, the 4th day of April. You remember we showed you, just last evening, we were talking about the Pretty Paul fellow who was called Thief in the Shrimp Thief. You understand now why Pretty Paul was so upset? You know, people stealing from your business, pilfering. That's thing to be upset about. But we learned this morning through Kaichur News, I think it is, that Pretty Paul exports are down. Pretty Paul exports are down. So when you see people taking your shrimps, you know, taking your lobster, taking your prawns by the baskets full, an expensive item like that, basket full of prawns, it's thing for vex you. Sabak News saying their exports have plunged from 20 containers a month, I think it is, to 2. 20 containers a month to 2 containers. We could focus on that. We spoke a little bit too about what's happening with Teleperformance, the downsizing rather, of Teleperformance from about 3,000 staff to a mere 300. Right? And the folks who administer this economy, they got to take responsibility for that. They must take responsibility for that. Right? And, you know, Teleperformance is not the only shuttered business. It is not the only shuttered business. So don't think so. But that being said, folks, finally, you remember that protest last week at the Commissioner of Information office? Continues today. I haven't met one person who applied for information and got it. I have not met one person. He wrote a letter requesting information from the Commissioner's office, the Commissioner of Information. Right? Charles Ramson Sr. Esquire. Not one person. I'm not saying the person does not exist. I'm saying I have not heard of them. Asked. I've asked. There's always an excuse. That protest continues today. Right? It continues today. It is in front of the office of the Commissioner of Information. Right? It's on Thomas Street, I think it is. Right? You come from Juice Power, you're heading east, and so you're heading into the city from Juice Power in Middle Street, and then you turn into Thomas Street, right there. So you'll go, I think it's from 12 o'clock, 12 to 12:45, and make your voices heard for good cause. Please and thank you. That's going down today. And there's where we leave it this morning. There is where we leave it this Friday morning, Friday the 4th day of April. It's been a privilege being here with you guys all week long. And more than that, it's been a privilege having you guys here with us. Share the like, smash that emoji button. That video with Jagdio shading Barbados is on our page. You can share that as well, folks. Take a look, take a listen to that, and share it as well. Have a great day. Marcio and Lone Wolf. Penelope. Is it Penelope? Yanet Eva. Avril. Shemina Edgel. Piali Cock. Lone Wolf. Nigel Blas. You have a fantastic day. We're going to see you guys back on the next one. That's our time for today. That's our program. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe.